Hello everyone, welcome to the Grow Your Future podcast. This is the Money Club series. I am your host, Zah Azmi, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Jade and Sam. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
hey,
Zah.
Sam.
How you guys going?
We have the pleasure of having both of you on at the same time. How cool is that? Are you guys excited?
I'm pumped.
100%.
Right? Just as exciting as tax, Sam?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll delve into it and see what happens.
What's been happening? Tell our listeners what have you guys been up to?
Buying real estate, building our businesses, and literally exactly what this podcast is about today, and just working with our A team to try and grow our future and build wealth in any way that we can. So this is really timely, I think, especially during times like this and how important it is to build an A team. So I'm excited about this podcast and getting into all of the details.
So you haven't been resting, it sounds.
Not really. No rest right now.
No rest for the wicked.
No.
So
no rest.
You're growing in times of uncertainty.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's why people out there that are growing, they'll get what we mean.
So there's no I in team, huh?
That's it.
So with the team, right? Like, we think it's so important to grow together, right? A lot of people say, okay, I'm self-made and all of that sort of thing. I think that's bullshit, because like, no one's self-made. Like, you need people around you, even when you're young, when you're growing up. Even if you don't come from money, like us, like we've never come from money, but you know, our family still provided, you know, food, shelter, love, in order for us to, you know, grow, right? So family are an integral part of the foundation of building a team.
That'd
right?
be like your first team, your first sort of introduction to a team, your family, as you're growing up,
That's
right?
it.
They're the people you can rely on.
Right?
Right? Till this day, you know, usually your family are the people you can rely on. But it's up to you to build a team and to create your own family, create a list of people, of professional services, clients, relationships, network, all of those things. So today, in today's podcast, we want to talk about that, right? How do we do it? Now, I know you guys, you know, you have your own teams within the businesses that you run, and so do I, right? And you guys are a very, very important part of my team. Sam, you being an accountant, and Jade, you being a qualified lawyer, right? So, you know, and we have more accountants and more lawyers that specialize in different areas, and over time, that network grows, right? And we want to talk to our viewers and listeners about how they can build their own network, right? How do you start, right? Because a lot of people are like, wow, you know, I don't have the resources. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Where do I start? But you know, I think it's just, you've just got to start, because it's a lifelong journey, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I want to go back to why it's so important. And we're constantly hearing about, you know, really successful people out there in whatever industry that they're operating in. They never get there by themselves. They front maybe as a one-man show, but I can tell you that they wouldn't have got to where they are without a team. Everyone has a team. And the bigger that you go, whether it be in property, whatever industry that you're in, the bigger your team, or, you know, the stronger your team at the end of the day. And it's taken me personally years to understand that. You know, there were times when in business, back in the day, you know, when I was doing business, starting out, I was just doing everything. And it does get you to a certain point, doesn't it? But it doesn't get you to where you need to be. And so it's so important to leverage off people around you if you want to go big. If you don't want to go big, then maybe this isn't important. Let's be real.
It's like a loan when you're buying property, right? You need the team to leverage in order to have the capacity to grow, because you only have a certain amount of time in the day to do what you need to do. And if you cap that time and run out of time, you can only service a certain amount of clients or do a certain amount of work. So really identifying good people to include in your team is going to be very crucial, I think.
The time factor is a really important thing, Sam, and I get that. But what another factor for me is the expertise, right? Like, I actually don't have not just the time, but the knowledge or the experience of what you guys have, for example. And that's why what I try and leverage off is the expertise, because I actually want to be the dumbest person in the room.
Me too.
Right?
Me
Because
too.
I just want a team of people around me that all know what they're doing to help me push forward, right? So that I know I'm going in the right direction. You know, because I can't possibly go out and study a law degree and then study an accounting degree and then also do a real estate course. I just can't do all of that, right? So I need all of these people in my corner pushing me from behind going, no, Zah, you're going in the right direction. Because a lot of people go, oh, I'll do it myself, right? Like most people just, they've got this, they're full of ego and they're like, nah, I'll do everything myself. You know, no one gets it done better than me.
I was like that.
We're all like that.
Yeah.
We all start out like that, right? Thinking that we know everything and we've got to do everything ourselves. But then as you sort of get more experienced in business, you start going, well, you know, maybe I can't manage my own property. Maybe I can't write my own loan, right? Maybe I can't, you know, do my own tax returns and all of that sort of, maybe I can't review my own contracts, right? I need the right people around me to help get the job done. And that's, you pointed out a really good point, Jade, where you said, if you want to grow and really think big and, you know, really leverage yourself further, like, you're going to have to use the people around you, right? So I guess everybody plays a part in your success. You know, whether it's, you know, let's say a professional service like you guys, or it's your employees, right? Because they're a very, very integral part of your team. Because
Critical.
Without them, nothing gets done.
That's right. Like, we need these workhorses
To grow.
to help us grow, because these guys that work, say, in the business, and they're the ones doing sort of, maybe it could be physical labor or whatever it is. They're actually doing the work. That allows people like us to really grow the business, right? To keep thinking big, to keep, you know, making sure we're all working towards something bigger and better, not just going to work every day and clocking in and clocking off, right? Because we want to provide opportunity to those people as well. We want to give back to those people. And also there's people like your clients or your customers. Like, without the client or the customer, you don't have a business. I always say your most important asset, your most invaluable asset to a business are your clients. So they're a big part of your team as well, because the repeat business is where you can grow. Like, we've got people, Jade, in our businesses who have come with us in every single business, no matter what the industry. We've got that following, we've got those relationships, right? So for you guys, who are the key players for you, both of you, in order for you to succeed at what you do?
For me, I think for me, it's building wealth and building a legacy. That's how big I'm going now. And it's number one, it's the customer. It's the staff member. Whatever job that they're doing in any part of our business, my philosophy is, and you've heard this before, is they don't work for me. We work together. We're on the same team. So we're just doing the same thing, really. We just got other things to do throughout the day.
Different roles.
Yeah, like, I don't care what job you have. We're on the same team. So it's going back to, I'm very passionate about building a culture, and culture comes along with building an A-team. If you are offering that good culture and those good set of values to your customers, to your professional business partners, whether that be, you know, lawyers, accountants, conveyancers, whatever it would be, builders. If you're offering those good values, and they'll stay with you for a lifetime. And going back to what you said, we've had people in our business that have come with us, no matter what industry, it's because of the values. So I think we need to be really clear about that and building those values to be able to build out your A-team as well, right?
Yeah, I think people get very selfish within their business or even their jobs, right? And they think about themselves and their brand too much, and they forget about the end user, which is the client, the customer, the buyer, the purchaser, the person who's actually paying your bills.
Long term.
Right? So if you can try and keep those customers for life, but you've got a long list of them, it's almost like a team of customers, right? That way you can always ensure that you're going to be successful.
Leave money on the table.
Yeah.
Always leave money on the table.
The way I see it, the customer is the ultimate person you need to impress and maintain. But it's the internal team that you have underneath you, whoever's the leader of this team, to try and keep them as happy as possible. So I think the external sort of team, the clients, are needed to be serviced as best you can by the internal team.
Yep.
Sort of like what you guys are saying.
And Sam, you're really good at it. Like it's one of the most valuable assets you have as an accountant, which really sets you apart from every other accountant that I've ever dealt with, right? Your client relation skills are world class, and that is what makes our business successful, right? And people forget that, right? Like, for example, let's use accountants, for example. The average accountant doesn't care about customer relations because they think that they've got this skill set that they've had to go to uni for, and then everyone should buy into this professional service because they've qualified to be able to give the advice and all of that sort of thing, which isn't true, right? Because the client wants to feel loved. The client wants to feel like they've got this connection to you. They want to feel like they've got this relationship. And because you're so good at doing that, Sam, you've got this following, right? People want to be involved with you, not so much just because of your accounting skills, but because you can manage them correctly.
Anyone can do a tax return. Anyone can do it. H&R Block can do it. Anyone can do it. So I guess it's that relationship that's going to ultimately dictate your success, right? So you have to keep the customer happy. That's the
I
end
tell
goal.
my team all the time, your skills, and I am a little bit harsh when I say this because I really need to get it into their heads. Every week I say it, I don't care about your skills. I don't care if you have none. Like, it's not all about your skills. People don't come to you just because you've got this amazing set of skills that no one else has. Everyone has the skills that you have. A lot of people do. It's your attitude and how you can go deep in helping the customer. That's what's really important. Like, for me, anyone can go get a law degree, but if you're an arsehole, no one's going to deal with you, right? No one cares. Like, it's not the skill set. There's a wealth of information out there that you can go and get and do things yourself, let's be honest. But people want to need you because of the value that you provide them. So it's long term, and not enough people are thinking long term.
And it feels good, right? It feels good to have to call your team a team of clients. A team of customers, because I think what a lot of companies do, which they do it wrong, it's a us and them, us versus them, right? So it's us as in the team, right, as in the company, and then them are the clients, they're the customers. Where what I try and do is we're a whole family, we're a full team. All of us are on the same team, because at the end of the day, we should be on the same team because we're going for that common goal, right? But so many companies, it's like I guess like a sports game where it's like, we're this team, the customer is another team, and we've got to close them. We've got to sell them.
We have to win.
We have to win, and then customers, essentially, they lose, right? Where it should be a win-win. We're all on the same team because we're shooting for the same goal. Yes, we want to get paid, right? We want to be rewarded. But at the same time, the client needs to get paid, not in obviously monetary value, but in a different type of value, right? In terms of a service. It's a win-win transaction, and that's where people go wrong, right? So I guess the client is an important part of the team, and a lot of people would be listening to this podcast thinking, oh, wow, that's different, because we thought we'd be talking about, professional services or business partners, employees, all of that sort of thing. But I wanted to start off with the client because essentially they're the most important part of the team, right? Without the client, we have no business. Without the client, we don't get paid. They are the foundation. Very, very key word here.
You can build everything above.
That's right, and that's why we want to start with the client and then go, okay, we've got the client, we've got the demographic, we've got the market. We want to treat them as one of us, bring them, open our doors, right? Welcoming them into our house and say, look, you're part of the team now. Let's grow together.
Yeah.
Just like those clients have followed us everywhere, Jade, for the last 10 years, those people will grow with us.
But that's where, can I just say, that's where people are so attracted to you, Zah. Like, you're just a magnet for that, and you make people feel so comfortable in doing business with you, and they don't leave. And because you genuinely care at the expense of everything else but them. So I think I just want to highlight that because you care so deeply about the customer at the end of the day, and it's been a platform for me to learn from that and to go and do that in other parts of our businesses as well.
It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to you guys, and that sort of transpires into the team. Like they all go, right, I feel that as well, because it starts from the top. So everybody else has that genuine care for the client.
Leading by example.
Right.
You're going to set the tone for how your team would ultimately deal with your customer, right?
I've got an example. It's Saturday today. Last night, Friday night. Everyone's exhausted by Friday, and they've just got a little bit to go until the weekend for us in our businesses. And our team were working one of our businesses till 11 o'clock last night because to please 2 customers. And I didn't even ask them to do that. I didn't even find out until 9 o'clock this morning. And, you know, one of them's on their 5th coffee. And I'm like, what happened? And they were so fine about it. And so for me, like, that's a reflection of us driving those values of the customer is one of the most important parts, or the most important part of your A team. And they know that. So for you guys out there that have a business, I'd be really paying attention to this discussion and thinking about how you can transcend this into your business and whatever industry that you're in. It's really, really important, especially right now.
Yes, you got to go above and beyond, right? You've got to go really, really above and beyond.
Now.
And you know what? Like, guys, it's not just so you can succeed at business, it's so you can make yourself feel good.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really love delivering unbelievable amounts of value to my clients to the point where they're like, wow. Like, even for me, last night I was here in my office at 8 o'clock at night and I was calling clients, right, getting back to them about certain things, and they were going, Zah, are you still at the office on a Friday night? And I said, yeah, I am. And they loved it. They were like, wow, you know, you're just so committed to us and it feels so good. Now, I want to move into the next part where I want to talk about something very unconventional that a lot of people don't really count these people on their team, but I do because they're very important, are haters. Right? Now, the reason why I want to bring up haters is because it's very, very different, right? Not many people will say, oh, they're not part of your team. They're idiots. No. These people are part of your team because you need these people to keep driving you forward. And it's very fitting because we've been getting a lot of hate lately,
we
right?
love them. We know you're watching too.
Why do you love them, Zah? Can you explain why you love them?
So the reason why I love the haters is because it actually doesn't really affect me in a negative way. And going off bringing tremendous amounts of value to our clients, the feeling that we get from delivering that value is so great. It's so great, it overpowers any negativity that gets thrown at us. Now, the haters, the reason why I love the haters is because it keeps you on your toes and it makes you think that you're doing the right thing. Because what happens is that if you're not getting any hate, if you're not getting any pushback or criticism or anything like that, whether it's productive or just nonsense,
Stupid.
right? It shows that, well, if you're not getting it, it shows that you're not doing enough, right? But if you're doing a lot, as in producing a lot of content, delivering, you know, a lot of value, actually helping a lot of people, and you're showing that success, what generally happens, all the top players, they'll always say that you attract some sort of criticism and hate. So the more hate that we receive, it tells us we're doing more of the right thing.
Yeah, keep going, guys. And I think, and you're right, like we've been getting it a lot more than usual, and we've been getting told about it. And I mean, for us, we don't really consume a lot of social media content. We produce a lot more, but it's coming through a lot lately. And for me,
why do you think now it's coming through more?
I was talking about this the other day to some guys. I was thinking, you know, it's the time, like it's an interesting time at the moment. There's a big shift out there. You know, we're going through a health crisis. Some people don't have money. They're struggling. They're not happy with how much work they haven't put in. You know,
so you think a bit of jealousy or negative?
100%, especially for the male audience out there, that they're jealous of him. And I think, for me, what have you done? What are you doing? And why, you know, the naysayers, you know, talking about, you know, why something's not a good investment, or it's like, but what are you doing? Show us what you're doing. We're interested.
What are you doing to change the world?
Yeah.
Right? What are you doing to help others? What are you doing to serve? What are you doing to really make a difference? Right? And these people, they're quick to judge. They're quick to hate. They're quick to be keyboard warriors. I mean, my door's always open. Like I'll just send the address and say,
No,
come, right?
I think the address is on all the social media.
They can come at any time, right? But the problem is that, you know, if these people had some credibility behind them, and, you know, they were talking to an audience where they were actually helping people and changing the world, you're right? Then I would stop and go, oh, hang on, maybe I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But until you do, right, get out there and do something good for yourself. Do something good for someone else, right? Rather than taking up the time and energy to bring someone else down who's actually trying to help the world, right? However, it tells me we're doing something right, because the majority of the population are negative. Let's face it, right?
Especially in this country, guys.
Not our listeners or viewers. So if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably, you know, a very positive person and a big supporter of Grow Your Future. But you're going to have a lot of haters along your success journey. And those haters can be family, those can be your friends, they can be your business partners. Pretty much every business partner I've had has been a hater, right? They've ripped me off, they've robbed me, they'd never want to see me succeed, right? Now they're all shitting their pants because I'm a high profile figure on the social media circuit, right? Because they know they're all going to get unraveled. But the problem is that you can really, really let it get the better of you. And you've got to understand it's all part of the journey.
So mindset will come into play then, right?
So
this
mental toughness,
negativity coming from a third party trying to affect what you're doing. So
mental
really
toughness, number one, before you go into business, before you do anything to help others, you must train that. Right. You must train that muscle.
So you have to get like your backyard sorted, right?
You will not. You won't survive.
Yeah.
You won't survive, especially in the world of business. Especially now, it's tough. Only the tough will. Only the strong will survive.
Anxiety and depression can all come from business failures and people hating on you, right? Like you really need to, you know, learn to grow, you know, tough skin, right? Or thick skin, and make sure that you can move past it, right? Like, I think failures are really good. I really love failures because what they do is they if you fail fast, right? Because what it does, it teaches you just to get up and keep moving, and you're stronger, better, and faster.
And maybe redirect what you're doing.
Yeah, you can pivot, right? You can adapt, you can adjust. And, you know, for us, like, this recession we're in now is nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing. Because we've created our own recessions by bad business partnerships, bad business ventures, right? You know, bad investments.
Can I make it really clear? Like, it hasn't hit us because of the money. Money's got nothing to do with it. It hasn't hit us because of that mental resilience that you build up because of the experiences that we've had in the past. So if you don't go through that, then you're going to find it very tough to go through more than a health crisis at the end of the day.
Let's bring this back to the team, right? If we hit tough times like we are now, right? Let's not lie. We're all going through this rough period, right? What's really, really on our side is that we've got a solid team, right? We've got people who all are mentally, you know, very, very tough. Everyone's in it together. Everyone's supportive. Everybody's trying to, like, lift each other up. We're all taking hits. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, yes, we're doing well, but we're taking a hit as well, right? You know, so everybody's lifting each other up. And that's what I love in tough times, is that what happens is that if you've got a good team around you, you'll be fine, right? You've got good people around you, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and I've got an example of that. So last week, I needed some really quick, and this is very hard to come by, very, very quick, prompt legal advice and some actual help. So I needed a lawyer to do some actual work. And I'm not going to go and do that work on my own. I'm going to leverage a legal team as well, right? Yeah. So being qualified doesn't mean you have to do everything. And, you know, because I have done the right thing by this lawyer in the past, and, you know, I've always paid my bills, and
that's probably the most important thing. Always pay your bills. Pay your bills, because it'll help you in the future.
It does, yeah. You know, and I got a 24-hour turnaround, and I'm not saying, and it wasn't even price. It was, can you get off the work that you're doing, and can you come and help me with the work that I'm doing within 24 hours? So it's those things that, and you're not thinking about that when you're delaying paying someone's bill, right? Leave money on the table.
It comes back to
Overpay.
relationships.
Overpay.
Yeah.
Overpay the bill. Leave a tip. You know, how many people do that? In Australia, obviously, it's not a custom to leave a tip. I do. Every time I pay a bill, like I'll add more GST on top, right? Because I want to make sure that when I have a problem in a tough time, I can pick up the phone, that person will see my number and go, hang on a second, I'm walking out of this meeting, I've got to answer this call, right? Like we need these people on speed dial so that you can keep moving forward, right? You don't want people to go, this guy again when you're calling.
Filter.
Like I'm just going to hit silent. How many of those people do we have? Because I've got so many drainers, so many tight asses who try and take my time, take my services for free, and really, really just take me for a ride. And when I see their number pop up, I'm like, silence. I'm not going to deal with it, right? Because they don't deliver any value, right? Because you want to deal with people who give back to you, who really support you. So if you want those people on your team, you need to give that back to them or give it to them first, right? So this is a really, really good conversation to have because a lot of people are tight asses. They don't pay bills. I'll overpay in a relationship. And if that person takes advantage of that and just takes my money and runs, then I know not to deal with that person anymore. Move on to the next person, right? So that's a really, really important thing is that people don't invest in their team, right? Utilize people's services is like investing in your team.
True.
Right?
Taking it back to money, you do get what you pay for. I think I've seen people, we've had business partners in our time that just don't pay bills and it comes back to us and we're having to put out fires. So pay your bills, guys. Leave money on the table because if you're wanting to be in business or whatever you're doing long term, even if it's property investing, you're going to have to do that. Think of the long term. People are thinking of tomorrow and people are thinking with a scarce mindset and it's just not going to do you any favors.
Everybody wants to be a boss, but no one wants to pay the bill, right? Everybody wants to be a boss, but no one wants to pay the bill. Like it's so rife in our culture that people are just tight asses because they're hoarding cash or whatever it is, right? They find it very hard to just give up those dollars or whatever it is. But what you've got to understand, you've got to do the complete opposite. Give up more to the point where you're broke. You're investing
in
karma
type thing, right?
That's right. It'll come back.
It's going to come back.
It'll come back. Like people say to me sometimes, they go, Zah, you're too generous. There's no such thing as being too generous, right? Give more and you'll receive more.
What have you found by being so generous in your business, right? What have you seen?
Everybody wants to help me.
So at any given point in time,
I can pick up the phone.
Your team can assist you.
I can pick up the phone and anyone's going to help me. But a lot of it, my brother actually said something very, very interesting to me once because he asked me for some advice and I said, you've got to give more, right? Because my brother can tend to be a bit of a tight ass. So he will he'll ask me, he'll go, how do you do it, right? And I'll go, well, I actually give a lot of value, right? And I give it away for free sometimes. And he said to me, well, wouldn't people just take advantage of you and just, run? And I go, that's a good thing. Because then I know how that person operates. I know not to operate with that person anymore. I don't do business with that person anymore, right? So it's like a test. But out of, say, 10 people you do that with, let's say 3 come back and give you more value in return, then you know those 3 are gems. You keep them on your team and you continue to do business with them. And look, it's taken me 10, 12, 13 years to be in business to be able to test all of these people out. However, we've come to a really good point now. We've got a really tightly held group of people that really want to help us. It's quality over quantity, right? Because we've overpaid in the past. We've left money on the table, just like Jade said. And these people have now gone, okay, I'm going to take it all. And we go, all right, we literally fuck those people off out of our life. But the 2, 3, 4 gems, we keep them,
we take
right?
them with us.
And we look after them for life.
It's a filtering process, what you're going through, right?
Exactly
Over
right.
time, you have to do that to weed out those people that are going to take advantage. And you'd rather them take advantage when you're a lot smaller, right? Rather than when you're bigger, when they can do more damage. Say
exactly the same thing with people take advantage of us all the time, and I'm like, it's good now. Good, it happened now, It's the damage is a lot less than what it would have been maybe 2, 3, 4 years down the track.
And I think being in business with people who who have the same goals as you are really, really important, and have the same values, right? Like, I've been in business partnerships before where, you know, the other partner has been a little bit of, say, someone who is very short term, and he'll be tight, and he won't pay bills, and that will eventually, if you're in business with that person, that will eventually come back onto you, and people will start to look at you and give you that reputation of someone who doesn't like to pay.
Oh, so your association with that particular person.
You have to be very careful.
So what my advice for our listeners is, if you have these types of people you're in partnership with, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Cut ties, because your reputation's at stake.
Yeah.
I've been in business with people who didn't pay bills, who treated people unfairly, and I started getting that reputation, and soon as I did, I had to cut it off. Doesn't matter if I lost money, I just got out of there real quick, because integrity is one of the biggest things when it comes to building a team. Like, you want people with integrity that you can trust, that you know that they're going to do the right thing by you, your client, your family, whatever it is that you're doing. Now, one of the things that a lot of people forget about when we're talking about building a team are like the little guys, right? Like, I'm talking printers. Who else have we got? Website designers, graphic designers, and this is all about, you know, building a team for business. Could be property managers, people who admin people.
They are the glue that hold your business together, that you don't really think about.
You don't really think about them. And like, I've got guys, for example, who print t-shirts. Like, we've been in business.
Designers.
We've done business with them for like 10 years, right? These guys do all of our clothing, our promo merchandise. We've got a separate guy for printing that we've been using for 10 years. I mean, and these guys really, really look after us. And it's not just because we pay bills, it's because we give them a lot of work, right? I think it's really important not to be too price conscious, right, with these little guys, because especially in times like this where we're in a recession, we've really got to contribute to the economy. Give these people work. They need it to survive, to feed their families, right, to grow the economy, to keep it going. If you've got a need, like, pay an extra $100, $200, $300. Sometimes I'll pay an extra, $1,000, $2,000 just to get a job done by a specific person, to keep the relationship, right? I want to keep my team well fed, and sometimes it's going to be more than the next person who quotes you, right? But as soon as you have built that relationship with someone, keep it there, right? Feed them. It's better to overpay someone you've been doing business with and you have a great relationship with, than to save, say, $200 on a bill just because with someone you've never dealt with before, just because you're too price conscious.
Business is all about relationships, right? So the better the relationship you have with these guys, the better your business is going to go, right? So I
think you got to just always have that in mind, and always going, okay, we want to put food on your table as well as ours. So how can we do that? How can we put food on yours, ours? How can we all be happy? So it's building that relationship. So everyone wants to do business with each other. And now, like you said, now is so important. Like, you see signs out there, please support us, please keep buying from us, please keep eating here. We really want you to still eat here. I saw a shop the other day, a restaurant, saying no masks needed here. So like, just come and eat. We welcome you into our doors. So I think it's really important, if it's business and just life at the moment, please keep supporting your business partners, your A-team, your staff, your professional business partners, as much the community as much as possible. Leave money on the table.
Don't worry about price. Don't worry about price. Worry about the relationship. This goes back to investing in your team, right? Like, a lot of people think, I'm investing, I'm parting with money, and I just, like, I'm not going to see it again.
They treat it as a cost.
That's right.
We were talking about it before, right?
That's right. Look at the value that you get out of it over the long term. You might not get that value today, right? When you pay that bill, you're probably thinking, oh man, I overpaid for that, right? But think about the next time round, the next week, the next month, when you pick up that phone, that person's going to really want to bend over backwards for you.
It feels good.
It feels really good to have people on your team that you can call for help, right? Like, I've got guys that I can call on that I haven't seen in 2 or 3 years, right? But they'll be here in a flash, right? Recently we had our interior designer friend, and we haven't contacted for like a year or something, right? We called him the other day, and he was like down here straight
3
away,
hours.
right? Like he's like, anything for you, Zah, I'll do it, right? And that's because I've just treated him well over the years. Like, and he's a very, very good friend now. But that's a really good example where, you know, you treat people well, you know, you do things for the long term. You can get things done, because as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a property investor, we need shit done, right? We don't just clock in, clock off. Like, we actually need to get a job done. So we can't do that on our own. We need the right people around us, and we need a job done fast.
Yeah.
Right? We need on tap. We need service on tap. One of the most important people on your team, and I know, Sam, you're still searching for one.
What is that?
But Warren Buffett says the most important person on your team is your spouse.
Oh,
right.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so guys, Sam's searching for a spouse right now.
I'm on the search, yes.
But you need to be investment worthy. And look, I think one of the biggest things that has helped, I guess, my business acumen and growth has been having someone like Jade in my life come along for the ride with me. Jade and I, basically come from nothing, right? Like our families aren't ultra wealthy. We've had to build a team together. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have been able to grow the team that we have and grow the network that we have. So I think, you know, some of the best advice that I can give our listeners is, look, invest in your spouse, right? Because, you know, it's probably the best return on investment, just like Warren Buffett talks about. You know, your wife or your husband or your girlfriend or boyfriend, like, it's really important. Work as a team. I think it's, you know, it's paid me in dividends, really. I have a great life. I've learnt so much. It's been an incredible journey. And I think, you know, if I can advise anyone, that'd be your greatest investment, you know, and that's, you know, investing in your marriage, into your relationship, making sure your home life is great. And everything will follow after that. I think it's really, really important. So,
can I just add to that? Like, everything that you say, I'm mirroring everything that you say. But I just feel like I talk to a lot of people out there, especially women, and they don't have that. And they get that it's important, but I don't think they really understand how far they can go with a great partner. How far it can take you. And people always say to me, I had a Zoom call with a women's networking group last week, and they're like, how did you do it? How come you're so successful? And I'm like, my husband. And like, I'm going to come on here and talk about my husband and what my husband has done for me and my life and the great experiences I've had. And they were all like, what? Like,
you know what?
husband,
it's funny,
you know?
just as a third party. As a third party, you both have said that you just couldn't get here without each other.
Definitely not.
So it goes back to being a team. So you just couldn't have done it without each other. You need someone in your life that's going to be rowing in the same direction as you, right?
And it's funny, Sam, like I get people sometimes saying to me, oh, you're lucky because, you know, you've got Jade and, you know, she helps you within the businesses and all of that sort of thing. And I'm like, yeah, I am lucky. Like, I'm not going to say I'm not lucky. Like, I am lucky, but we created our own luck. Like, we worked on it together. We work on the weekends, you know, Sundays we're working as well. And I mean, the thing is, we love it. Like, a lot of our family say, oh, when are you going to have a day off? When are you going to, you know, take time off? It's like, well,
we don't want a day off.
We don't really want to, because we actually love it. And if you say that to a successful person who's passionate about their work, they get the shits, right? They go, oh, hang on, but this is what I actually love doing. I'd rather be here than being at the pub. I'd rather be here than, you know, hanging out at the park. You know, I'd rather be working and being productive than wasting time in front of the TV, which like a lot of people like to do. So for me, I am lucky that I have Jade who works within the businesses and drives everything forward, and she helps me grow.
But it's the two-way street. I'm lucky too.
We've created it. And that's that's the I guess the point we're trying to make here for our podcast listeners is that you can do it too. Like, it's fun doing it as a team. We've talked about it before in a previous podcast. Like, it actually feels really good achieving something together. And look, Sam, you and I, we're business partners, and we've created this business together, and we've done some really interesting things in the last 6 months. And it feels really good to do it together.
Yeah.
Like if I did it on my own, like I'd be like,
Who are you going to high five?
yeah, right? Like it's so exciting when we
So
get
true.
the result for a client,
Yeah.
right? Like it's really, really fulfilling and it's satisfying. And doing it with someone else, doing it with a group of people, like let's go back to our employees, right? Our staff. Like when we do a cracker week or when we
celebrate.
achieve a target and we hit it, like we celebrate together. And
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that on your own. It would
It
be.
wouldn't be as fun.
No,
either.
I don't even want to think about it, right? Like it would be so empty.
Yeah.
But so when you've got people around you that are winning with you, like I've been in business with people before where they've only been interested in winning themselves. You know, we all know those people. They're just super selfish and all they care about is themselves. And they don't care about, their staff or, their business partners. They just want to win for themselves, right? Those people when they celebrate, like who do they celebrate with? Themselves?
Yeah.
In their little office? Yeah, I won, you know what I mean? Or do you want to celebrate with a team of people where you've literally groomed from nothing? You've all come from nothing and you're achieving these targets. Like it's a beautiful feeling.
It really is. And I think that's what drives you forward, especially having a business and having those hard times. The good times with the celebration and the wins like that far outweigh anything, I think, at the end of the day.
Cool. Any last words, guys, on team? Sam?
I would say when building a team, always build it in an atmosphere of positivity and appreciation. I've found being a team member on a lower rank of a business and then going to the top, I've found the team members who go the furthest and grow the most are the ones that are appreciated and you feed them positivity. So I'd say do that.
Which is important to do now,
100%.
right? It's more important
It's a very
than ever.
negative mood right now.
That's
in
right.
the whole world. So
Yeah.
be as
Stay positive.
It's mindset.
Yeah.
It's all mindset.
Stay positive. And there's always sunshine after the rain. Always remember that.
Wow, that's-
I've got 2 takeaways from today, and your network is your net worth, which is very common. It's, it's an original. But, there's this saying out there, I need to climb the corporate ladder or the ladder, whatever ladder.
Make your own ladder.
No, be the ladder.
Or be the
Why don't you be the ladder and help others get to where they need to be?
I like that.
So become the ladder rather than climbing the ladder, getting yourself to wherever you're going.
Own the ladder. Own the ladder,
Yeah.
right?
I like
Help
that.
others.
That's
How can you help others be the best in their field?
I love that, guys. And I think one of the most important people that we forgot to mention on our team are our listeners, right? Thanks, guys, for listening to us. Thanks
We
for
love you guys.
Thanks for supporting us for, I think we've done 70 or 80 episodes now.
Yeah.
It's been really, really fun, and we look forward to, providing more value. If there's anything else that you guys want us to talk about in the future, please let us know. Send us a message or an email.
Yeah.
But until next time, see you later. Peace.
See you later, guys.
See you guys.